So this is my garden as of July, and what you're looking at is my row of milkweed, and some bee balm. The bee balm took over. Bee balm's a mint, so I have had to replant some of it. What's nice about having the bee balm in with the milkweed is that it does sometimes give it some stability. It tends to flop over and I have to stake it. If you're local to Olympia and you want some milkweed is meant to feed the monarch butterflies. These little pods will seed shortly, and I can give you some pods. They're kind of messy. They have a lot of cotton that comes out, and I'm not going to deal with all of those, but I'll give you a pod if you want to have your own. It's an initiative to save the monarchs. This echinacea just volunteered, and that makes me really happy. I think I'm going to separate it next year, spread it around the garden. This lavender is out of control. I've actually cut it back once, but the bees totally love it. But it looks like it's going to be split off. It's basically like a tree at this point. My goal has been to plant as many sunflowers as I can, and I've had some success. And oh, look at that, we've got a bee resting on one of the leaves. Isn't that sweet? So I've got some sunflowers here at the front of my yard. And closer to the road, which you can hear, I've got some sunflowers. I've separated some of them. We originally seeded them 3 seeds in one, which is why they're growing so close together. And then I separated some of them. Some of them I'm just going to let hang out. You're supposed to pull this one, but I mean, it's just doing so well. Might as well. Let's see what happens. Here's my other patch of sunflowers, which I'm also trying to put. This was my first marigold bloom of the season. Yay. I'm trying to grow them alongside some sweet peas. There's 2 different kinds here. These are the 12-foot variety, but they have been transplanted, so they might only get to be about 6 feet, which is fine. And then these smaller ones are the teddy bear ones, which I think are really cute. So I'm hoping we have some variety with that. This is where I drew my inspiration to have sunflowers last year. These ones are doing okay, but I'm noticing this is where I really had my best sunflower year, and not doing so great. I'm going to try to put some compost in, see if that helps. I've learned that sunflowers are really big feeders, so it could be that there's just not enough nutrients in the soil for them to keep going. And then I've got some other little teddy bear ones over there. And this is what I call my strawberry patch. It also has raspberry canes, which this is my first year growing raspberries. What I think is really interesting is, here, I'll show you over here. The raspberry canes grow a new one that doesn't flower, but then this one does. Oh, hey, you're ready to go. And so I'm basically going to double my raspberries next year and then keep going, which now I understand why my neighbor was so eager to give me his raspberries. And in here I also have some Stuttgart onions. There's a garlic that needs to be pulled. Strawberries, lots of strawberries, why it's called the strawberry patch. A little bit of dill, which isn't doing great, but that's fine. I don't use dill a whole lot. I'm hoping that we might get some more strawberries. And then once we pull all this up, I put some lettuce seed down to mulch. I don't know that we'll get any lettuce, just to keep the soil going. But I'm hoping to put some garlic in. These are cedar steps. I just cut those up so that I had somewhere to walk through, because I noticed last year, this was about half the size it was last year. I put these cement blocks in and made this a little bit bigger for this year. And then we're in the middle of finishing this fence project. A neighbor last year gifted me these black-eyed Susans, and they've come back in a major way. So at the end of the season, I'm going to split these guys and just hopefully have lots of them. There's a little sage poking out behind there. I have 2 tomato plants here, which I'll talk about my tomatoes in just a minute. A couple of other experiments. These were potted kale, and they weren't doing so hot. They were pretty straggly. They're still kind of straggly, but they're getting some new growth. So I think I'm going to hang on to them here. The plan was to grow a lot of kale, because kale grows really well here. And then this was the original hosta plant. And then I went ahead and split all along the fence line, and then on another fence line that you can't see, because I want to see if I can get them to spread out. And there's my borage, which is making the bees really happy. My zucchini is doing pretty okay. We decided to dedicate one garden bed to zucchini. There's some extra ones back here that we've been getting some from. And then half of that garden bed is kale. I've separated the kale once. I just kind of spread seeds without spacing it out. I'm gonna have to learn how to get better at spacing. All right, so these are Cherokee tomatoes. I bought them because they turn purple. We have a lot of raccoons around here, and so we've fenced this in, hopefully to keep them out. We'll see how successful we are. And they are pretty prolific growers. I actually planted all of my seeds in March indoors, and all of them came out. I've gifted some of my tomatoes, and some of them are just potted up. Some of them are in the flower bed. I think they're gonna do really well. So I'm hoping that all of our tactics to keep the raccoons out and the deer are successful. And I grew a row of basil. This basil I grew in the winter in my kitchen window. It just stayed and wintered, and then I split it up. And it's doing pretty great. It smells awesome. And then this is one where I wish I could have done more. It's coming slowly. These are Molly's Husk tomatoes. Not tomatoes, but they're ground cherries. And I love ground cherries. I got these in my CSA years ago. And they're starting to bear some flowers, but I don't know how they're going to do. I figured I would do okay next to the tomatoes because they're part of the tomato family. And here's my wildflower garden bed. Lots of cosmos, lots of bee balm. And this is the honeysuckle that we were able to transplant from the last house we lived in. There's also a jasmine tucked away behind the milkweed, which I accidentally cut back, but I think it'll recover and do okay. I've been trying to do some fun border stuff, but this gets a lot of direct sun, so it dries out pretty quick, even though I've been trying to repair the soil. And this is our big garden bed that we put in last spring, and probably the best thing that we've been growing so far that's been fun, and I'm probably saying the name wrong, don't correct me, is called teotsi. It's a cabbage, and it's so fantastic. It's great in smoothies. I can just pick it and eat it. I think it's a nice, pleasant flavor. It's not bitter at all. So if you're local to me, I might be gifting you some teotsi. This was my last minute decision to put some cucumber in. It's July, so I'm hoping that maybe by September we'll have a cuke or two. I tried spacing out perfectly carrots here, and I've had to modify quite a bit because there is an intruding yucca plant that keeps trying to come back, and it's killing my game. But I've had some pretty big carrots come in, and there's still going to be some more that are coming in. I don't know if I'll try growing carrots again. It took me a long time to seed all of this, and it wasn't very much yield, but it has been fun getting carrots. And apparently the deer just eat the tops of them, which I'm fine with sharing. And on the other side of the same garden bed is my broccoli. I had a big broccoli plant last year that I decided didn't make it past the freeze. I'm not sure if that was the right decision to pull it or not. But when the weather isn't super hot like it has been, I'm going to try to pull some of these a little bit farther apart so we can have just like a nice big broccoli forest. And that's my garden for 2025.